Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Let me do that again. I love the angle that my hand made that time. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I got it. You have to point your finger down into the camera like this. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Now, part of the reason I call myself the Peter Dislike Show is that I have a lot of views that are unpopular, and I'm overly optimistic, and sometimes it burns me when my expectations of optimism are not met. I sometimes trust people too much, and I sometimes hold out too much hope for humanity, and my expectations are very seldom met. So 2 years ago, when I first vacationed here in Phoenix, Arizona, I hadn't moved here permanently yet at the time, but I was vacationing here. I had booked an Airbnb in Laveen, Arizona. It was I want to say 4-bedroom house with 1 kitchen and 2 bathrooms. And I naively put some toilet paper in the bathroom. I put some silverware in the kitchen, some dishes and all that. And to my discontent, everything just kept disappearing. My roommates would borrow the toilet paper to do something, maybe clean up a mess somewhere else, and then forget to return it. And my silverware disappeared. Somebody would use my dishes and then leave them piled in the sink. Now, I normally wouldn't mind if somebody just left a mess. The problem is I also have food allergies. I can't just randomly clean somebody's dishes unless I have some PPE, like gloves or something. I had gone to Walmart to get a box of latex gloves. At the time, I walked to Walmart because I love exercise. It was a 1.5-mile walk each way, and by the time I got home, I wanted to take a nap. And when I got up, the gloves disappeared, so I couldn't even get to the dishes. And I was talking one day, out of frustration, I was talking to one of my roommates about the situation. And my roommates were a little bit younger than me, but I think the 2, 3, 4 other people in there were mostly college age. And I guess they just assumed that I hadn't, I'd been out of college for some time. Oh yeah, you got to take your stuff with you when you leave the kitchen if you expect to have it. Just put it in your room. Now, here's the thing. I don't mind having to put my silverware, my dishes, my toilet paper in my room. It's more of I wish I didn't have to do that. I wish I could trust people. I want to live in a house. I don't want to be living in a jail or a shelter at best, right? And we're talking about dishes and toilet paper. It's not like I'm leaving my computer, my cell phone, my credit cards in the common area. If I leave those things in the car, I could totally understand where he's coming from, right? But we're talking used dishes even, right? Some of them I was buying from Goodwill, and even then, it just doesn't feel like a home anymore. That's what you might do in a jail cell, right? If you have cellmates, I could totally agree. You might want to hide your silverware in your clothes or something like that, right? I could totally agree with that, right? But we're talking about a home in a typical town in the United States. And we're not talking about the third world country where silverware might be hard to come by, right? Just very frustrating. Now, this April we have a solar eclipse, and I had arranged some time off at work. And then I remember the last time what happened when I tried to arrange some time off. I was working at a tutoring center, and I had just helped out a colleague of mine who had a family emergency of some sort. And I got back to the office and I asked for a different day off because I wanted to go see a lunar eclipse last year. And my boss said, "Oh yeah, not a problem. It's so early on, And he pretty much thought I was crazy for asking that early. And so I didn't bother him anymore. I figured I had already asked. And then last minute he forgot about it, scheduled me with a student, and then told me how important this student was and all that. And I was really upset. And to show how upset I was after telling him and being so early, after I finished with that one student, I still went to see the lunar eclipse, but I was a mess when I went to the center the following day to work with that student. And then I got home and I looked up all of the solar and lunar eclipses for the next 100 years, and I booked them all on his calendar. And so just as a prank, because he had really upset me after telling me how early it was and all that. Okay, fast forward a year later, here at Phoenix College, I was talking to my boss about taking the day off. It was April 8 or 9. And once again, she tells me no problem. And again, I have to put it in writing. I emailed her and said, thank you so much for giving me this day off. I'll make sure that we get all the students on track and all that. Now, it's not hard for me to take 2 minutes out of my day to send that email. What really hurts me is the fact that I have to do it at all, that I can't trust people. And so it really burns that there's this lack of trust in our society, that you have to document things. People aren't going to remember things, or they make a mistake and they forget and they push it on you or something like that. And so it really burns that you have to trust but verify. It really does. Similarly, at my last job, especially when I was teaching at Washington Technology University, my boss often changed how she wanted stuff to be done. 1 minute, she wanted things to be graded this way, the next minute that way, the next minute I need to talk to the students this way, that way, this way, that way. And I learned the hard way that if I agree with my boss on how to do something, to put it in writing. Hey, thanks for discussing how we should communicate these things with the student. From now on, blah. And again, it's not hard. Sometimes it even helps me to write it down because I remind myself how to do it. What really burns is the idea that I even have to do that just to protect myself more than anything else. And this lack of camaraderie and trust and teamwork really, really burns me. And it makes me want to check out of the United States for good. I can't imagine any of this taking place in a different culture, especially in Eastern Europe or in Asian cultures where people work like a family, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show! Bum, 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show! Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show! Bum, 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 bum.